Hey Flutter developers, welcome back to Astrodevs channel. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how you can create this beautiful design for your application with Flutter. So as you can see, I have found this video online, so I have put the link to it down in the description below. So before we start, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to stay updated for our future videos. As you guys could see, we need some pictures of some houses and a custom font. So I am using Color font. By the way, the link to the font is already in the description down below, so you can go and download it from Google Fonts. And the assets is actually where I am storing my pictures. So we have 5 pictures from houses. You can put any pictures of any houses as you wish, or if you want to use the same pictures I am using, you can find these pictures in the GitHub link I have put in the description. So to use our images and fonts, we need to actually insert them in our popspec.yaml. So for inserting them, you can use this code which I'm going to type. So you need to be in the Flutter block, and when you are here, just hit tab once and you can start typing. So we are adding our image and fonts in popspec.yaml like this. So we hit the button, so the Flutter pub-get would be run, and we wait for it. Okay, it's already done, and save the files so we can actually get going. So I'm gonna use 2 windows like this, and so I'm not gonna type any codes in my main.dart, so I'm just gonna address my new widget through my main.dart file. So I'm gonna create a new file. I'm gonna call it welcome page .dart. And in here, first of all, we need to import the material package, and then we can create our state. I guess we need a stateless state because I don't see anything changing in here. So I'm just gonna actually create a stateless widget. If you have I guess this is Flutter snippet. So if you have it already installed, just by typing like that, you see that it is already suggesting the stateless widget for us. So give it a name. I'm gonna call it welcome page as we are calling the file. So now I can go here and address my welcome page to my material app. So now you can see it is already there, and we can actually get going. So in here we need a scaffold. So I'm just gonna now give it a body and put some text in it just to see if it is working properly. I'm using a text widget. I'm just calling it hello world just to see if it is working as I want. So I save my app, and yes, you can see the hello world is here. And as you can see, first of all, we need to remove this debug banner, and in the design we don't have the status bar. So for removing both of them, you need to actually, in your material app, to remove the debug banner, you just have to type debug show checkmark banner, and you just need to give it a false. So I save my code, and the debug banner is gone. And for removing your status bar, even though it is transparent, you have to go to your main method. And as you can see, I am calling widgets Flutter bonding ensure initialize. So actually in here, the name says it all. It just ensures that Flutter is binded, and we can actually start writing our code without any crashes. So what you need to type in here is to use your system Chrome, and you need to import your services package. Then you set enabled UI mode. Then you need to say the system UI mode dot manual. So right now, and you need to use a comma. Then you say overlays, which is a list of overlays. I can actually close this so you can see it better. And just put the semicolon there so the error is gone. And you need to say system UI overlay dot button. And if I save my code, actually I need to restart my application. And now you can see that everything is gone, and we have a plain screen to just work with it. So I can close my main.dart, and we can start working on our welcome page. And I actually can close the emulator for now. I zoom in on this picture a little bit so we can work on it a little better. So we start from this part, then we go down. So you can see that we need a picture of a house with our logo, and it has a rounded border radius, so we can actually create that. So as you can see, we need a column, so we can actually put our image first, then our text, then the button, then again the text. So for now, I'm gonna create a column here, and I need to call the children of it. Then we need, actually, we can use a stack widget, or you can have this picture ready to go from Photoshop or something, but I'm just gonna be creating an image, then putting a text widget with an SVG or a logo or something up next to it. So I'm gonna use a stack for our first child. So the stack first child is gonna be an image.asset, because we're gonna be calling our image from our asset file. So this is the way that you can actually display the image from the asset folder, and the path to our image would be assets image, and let's see what image we can be using. I guess the house underline 5 or maybe house 1. Yes, this is a better image, I guess, because we have this empty sky, so we can put our logo in it. So I'm going to be using the house underline 1. So house underline 1 .jpeg, actually it is. And what error we have, it says the constructor being called isn't a const. So you just need to remove this const from your scaffold. And I guess we need to be, okay, we check our application, the image is not there. Okay, it is loaded. And yes, as you can see, we have the actually plain sky to put our logo, and you can see some missing parts. The corners are not rounded, and the image is attached to its parent. So to fix that, we need to wrap our image, which by the way, you need to press Ctrl dot if you're on Windows, or Command dot if you're on a Mac, and you need to wrap with the widget. For creating some rounded corners for your image, you need to be using clip or rect image, which actually takes in a border radius. And for that, you need to be using your border radius widget, which you have two ways. One is to call the all method from it, then return a radius, circular. I guess 25 would be suitable for it. Let's save our picture and see, yeah, 25 is good, or maybe we can go higher. And you have another way to just keep the code simple. You can actually call the circular method from it, and then you can just type in the number you want it to be, and it is not a const, so you need to remove the const. And yes, as you can see, the corners are there. And 25 I guess is good, or maybe we can go up to 30. Yeah, 30 is much more like, it has an intense border radius in here, so we go with 30. And to create this actually empty space, you can actually wrap this with padding. So the 8, we can just use the 8, and 8 is good, I guess. Yes, 8 is good. Maybe we can go up to 10 just to have a little bit more space. Yeah, 10 is good as well. And the size of it, actually, I guess the size is good. We have, or maybe we can reduce the size a little bit. So in your image that asset, you can actually set in a specific height. So I'm not gonna use a height like this, because maybe 200 on some devices may vary. So one thing that I can do is just take the width and height of the device, which can be done like this: media query.of, you give it a context, and then .size.width, and then you can use the same thing for actually having the height of the device. So I'm just gonna give it a name of height, and then the media query.of context .size.height. So right now I can say I need the height, but how much I need from it? I need, for example, let's say 0.2. Let's check how it is. Okay, it's so okay, one thing that there is, we can actually see that it is a little bit longer than the half of the screen. So I can go, for example, with 0.55, which is a little bit taller than the half of the screen. And then you can actually set the fit for it. You can use the fit, and then the box fit. I guess we need to say fit width. And let's see how it is. Don't forget the comma. And because it doesn't have any width, we need to actually specify the width for it. I can just use the width, which is the width of the screen, so it would be attaching to the screen size. Yes, and as you can see, the image is there, and I guess this is pretty much done. We can actually reduce this a little bit. We can go back to the 55. Yeah, 55 may be good. And now the image is done. We need to actually add the logo and the name of the application next to it. So for that, we need to actually go outside from our padding, and we need a positioned widget. So the position widget actually lets you to stack two widgets on top of each other if you are actually inside a stack widget. So for that, we need a row, or maybe if the logo is a PNG or an SVG, you can just directly import it. But I'm just going to be using a row, so we have the logo and then the text next to it. So for this one, we need to say the children are an image, let's say. So I'm just going to use an icon widget. So I just can say icons that, let's say, a house, if there is any, and let's see how it looks. Yeah, this house is good. I just need to change the color. I can say colors.white. Let's see how that is. Yeah, it's not showing up because it's in the empty space, but it's okay. To bring it to the center, you just have to assign the same value for the left and the right of it. So both of them would be 30. And yeah, you need to change some settings for a row. So we just have to say the main axis alignment is equal to main axis alignment dot center. And yes, as you can see, the icon or the logo is in the center, and right next to it we need a text. So before adding the text, I just wanted to make it a little bit bigger, so I can just say size is equal to 30, or maybe I can go up to 45 or something. Let's just check it. Yeah, 45, maybe 40. Yes, this is the best choice we can have. And right next to it we need a text, and the text is, we're just gonna say so house, and I need to change its color, so I just have to say style is equal to text style, and the color is gonna be equal to colors.white. And yes, as you can see, the color is changed. I need to make it a little bit bigger. I can just say the font size is equal, for example, to 20. Yeah, 20 is good. And I have forgot to change our font, so we can just go back to our main.dart. We can come here and we can have a theme. So on the theme, we need to say the theme data is equal to, let's say, font family is color, and you need to make sure that the name you're using here is the same name that you're referring to from your material app. And the error we have is saying that actually the constructor is not a const, so you have to remove the const from here. And if I save my application, you can see the font has changed. So we go back to our welcome page, and yes, this part is done, but we need a little bit of space between our logo and the text. So just to create that, you need to use size box, and you need to give it a width. For example, I can say 10 is enough for the space we need, and maybe a little bit less. So for example, 5. Yeah, 5 is a better choice. Okay, we are done with our stack and the image and this part, so we can move on. So let's just go out from a stack widget and bring in these text and the button. Okay, we need a text widget before all, and the text says discover dream house from smartphone. Okay, I save this to just check how it looks. Yeah, the text is there, but we need again a bit space here, so I just can use the size box again. And for the size box, I can say the height. I want the height to be something like 2 maybe. No, 2 is a lot, so maybe 1, 0.1, maybe 0.05. Yeah, I guess that is better. And right now I just need to make the text to be bold, and to do that I just can use the style and the text style. So I just can say the font weight, I want it to be font weight that bold, maybe gonna do the job. Yeah, that bold is good. Or maybe I can use actually the weights as well. I can say W700 and you can see it is doing the same thing for me. And I just need to make it a bit bigger again, so I can just use this font size again, and maybe 40 for here. A bit less, 30. Yeah, 30 is good. As I can see, yeah, 30 is good. So maybe I could have used a font with more weight, like W900 or 800, but I'm just gonna go with W700, and I guess it is good. So I can use the text align, and the text align, and I can say center. So the text is looking like that. As you can see, the text is not actually attached to the sides, so we need a little bit of white space over here. So to create that, we can actually wrap our text with the padding, maybe 8. We just have to check if it is good. We can go for a little bit more, so maybe 10 again is good. So maybe not all. I can use symmetric, and I can say horizontal, and the horizontal is going to be 10, so it is just applied to the sides, not the bottom and the top. Okay, it is good, and as you can see, the text is actually looking like how it should. So we have some typos here, so it looks the same. So right now I can just copy the text widget to use it once again, and maybe copy the whole padding and come outside and put it again, and the text is there, but the text should be different, so I have to remove it, and I just make it bigger so we can see what it says. It says the #1 app for searching and finding the most suitable house with you. The most, we have some typos, finding and searching. Okay, we can actually make it a bit smaller, so let's say like 15 or 18 maybe. Yeah, 18 is good, or even we can go with 16. Yeah, 16 is good, and we can actually make the padding a bit bigger. So 30, maybe let's say 40, or maybe 15. It didn't change anything. Yeah, 15 is good. Yes. So for the color, as you can see, it has a bit like a grayish color. So just to do that, I'm gonna be using the color, and I'm gonna go to the colors dot black, and I'm gonna be using, for example, black 12. Maybe a bit darker, so let's say black, if we have anything like 45. Yeah, black 45 is good for that. So, and again, we need a bit of space here, so I'm just gonna copy the same size box, and instead of 0.05, maybe 0.02 or maybe 1. And yes, this is fine. And actually we can reduce the size here a bit more, so for example, let's say 4, maybe even 3, I don't know. Yeah, let's go with 35. Yes, that is good. And what next we have a button. So to create our button, we can actually use a container. Yes, the container, and we need a decoration box, and we need a box decoration. And for the color, let's just go with the colors.black. Okay, nothing is shown because there's nothing inside the container. So let's just give it a child, which is gonna be a center widget. And inside the center widget, we're gonna have a text as a child to just say register. And let's just save it. And yes, there it is, our container. We need to change the style of the text so the text would be shown. So we need to say the text style, and the color is going to be equal to the colors.white. Yes, the text is there. We need to make the text a little bit bigger. So let's say font size is equal to 15. Maybe bigger, maybe let's say 20. If not, okay, 20 is good. And we need some margins from the sides, so we can use edge insets dot symmetric again, and horizontal, and we can use the width, which is the width of the screen, and we can say times 0.1, maybe let's say 15. Okay, we can go for 20, or so maybe 2 is good, because I can see the button is actually a bit larger than the text. So you can see here it is actually, yes, so this is good. And we need some paddings as well, because you can see that there is some space here around the text, so we can use padding. Not all, we need to use the symmetric again. We can say the vertical can be 10, just to check it. The vertical can be 10 and the horizontal can be 20, the double amount. If we even didn't put the horizontal, maybe it was good. Yeah, nothing has changed. So because we are using the center widget, so we don't need to actually use that horizontal factor over there. Okay, we need a bit space again, so I can just copy the size box from here just to save some time and bring it here. Let's see how that does. Okay, maybe we can go up to 3 or maybe 2. Okay, maybe 4 even, because you can see that the distance here is actually a bit larger than the distance we have over there. So maybe even we can go with 5. Yeah, 5 is good. And we need to actually give it a rounded corners. So inside the decoration, alongside with the color, you can just type in the border radius, and again you have the same approach as I have showed you before. So I'm just going to go with the circular, and let's say maybe like 15, and the const should be removed, and yes, that is fine. Maybe make the text, or I guess if we make the vertical padding a bit bigger, yes, now that looks better. Okay, so what else we need to do? Maybe reduce it to be 0.045. Yes, that is fine. And we need to add the text. Okay, to have the text like that, we know that this login should be clickable, and we actually gonna make the container to be clickable. But first we need to actually understand this part. So this text and this text are actually two separated widgets. So because they have two separated styles, this one over here is clickable. So for that, we go outside of the container. I need a bit space again, so maybe I can use this size box over here. We can actually change it later. So we need a row, and the children are gonna be two texts. The text says already have an account with a question mark, and if we save it, you can see that it is here. So once again, like that, we need to actually use a brighter color. So we can use the text style and say the color would be equal to colors.black.38 maybe, or maybe even that 45 was good. So let's go for 45. And yes, didn't have any specific changes, but that is good. So just have to make it a little bit bigger. Font size 16, let's see how that does. Yeah, font size 16 is good. We need to make sure that it is in the center, so we can just say main axis alignment is equal to main axis alignment center, and yes, that is in the center. We can actually increase this a little bit. We can go for 0.02 or maybe 0.025. Yes, that is good. And to just have a clickable text, you can use text button, which actually takes in an onClick method. I'm just gonna leave it in empty. And as for the text, you need to give it a text widget. And the text widget, actually let's remove the const because we are using an empty method over here. And so for the text, you can just say log in, and we need to change the style. It actually, I guess, needs to be bold. So let's say text style is equal to color is black, and the font weight is actually font weight dot bold. And yes, that is there. Change the font size to be 16 as well. Yes, and as you can see, the distance is already there, and this is clickable. Okay, so now there you have it. We have the welcome page. As you can see, you can change the picture. You can actually use a bolder font for here. As I said, maybe you can use W900 or 800, but everything else is good. So now let's just go to the next page.